Welcome to Who You Know with Michael Sublett of Oddmost Pizza and Arthur Meeker of Extreme Graphics. We're shining the spotlight on businesses right here in the Pacific Northwest, celebrating their growth, their networking wins, and the impact they make in their communities. From small town gems to big community players, this is where connection meets inspiration.
Today we have a guest, Russ Hedge. I appreciate you coming on. I actually feel like I'm a fan of yours because I see so much of what you do. Like this morning I was reading on how well your scans went and things like that, and we'll get into those things. But we appreciate you coming in and want to introduce you to people that may not know you. And so, I kind of know you. Arthur really knows you.
I've known you for a long time. We've done business together at the previous place that you worked for a long time. We ran in the same circle with the chamber and greeters and business after hours and tailgating. OSU tailgating.
Love tailgating.
Yeah.
We have some great pictures of you, Crystal, and I, getting all ready. Go Beavs.
Go Beavs, yeah, go Beavs. So tell us a little bit about you. What's like your history of some of the things that you've done in life?
Well, first of all, I call myself an inspiration specialist, and I love to inspire and encourage people. I love people, and that's what I'm all about. I've been in sales and marketing my whole life, and it's been all about people. And I've learned that connection and community building is at the root of everything in our lives, and that's what I really love to talk about and help people with. So I am I'm an inspirational speaker. I am an international best-selling author. I am a marketing coach and live streamer and podcaster. And so I just love anything where I can build relationships. And you know that, Arthur.
Oh, absolutely.
And so it's such a great time to be here with both of you because I love opportunities to reach out to new audiences and let people know I am always here at RussHedge.com to connect with you and to build life and to pray for you and just be a support type person. That's really what I'm all about.
Yeah, that's awesome. How many books have you written now?
So I'm up to 6.
6.
And 2 solo books and 4 anthologies, which mean anthologies I wrote a chapter in each one.
Okay.
The solo books are a little more difficult. I just came off my latest, which is Life Happens and Then You Choose.
Yeah.
We have actually hand signals for my book, so it's Life Happens and Then You Choose.
I love it.
My first book was Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose. And it was funny because when I wrote that book, it was all about not living your life befuddled, but choosing the life you wanted to live. And the name came about because of my beautiful wife, because one morning she found me tripping over things and rushing out the door, and she's like, honey, are you okay? And I said, I'm fine if I don't. She goes, I don't know. She goes, you look kind of befuddled, she said. So that was the start of that book. And people would tell me, well, I can't live the life I choose. I can't choose what happens to me. And I would say, you're exactly right. You cannot choose what happened to you, but what you do from there, you can always choose because life happens and then you choose. And I said that over and over and over. And my co-host of one of my live streams said to me, dude, that's your next book. Life Happens and Then You Choose. So.
Yeah, it was a great book. I just finished it.
Thank you.
Really good book. One of the stories that stuck out, one of the things that stuck out is I've known you forever, and you are so positive. You just put that vibe out there. I don't think you ever have a bad day, but you probably might have a bad day. You never let anybody know it, or you wouldn't let anybody know it. And that's what your message is be grateful and happy and stuff. Where did it all kick in for you? Was it because I read in the book and I remember briefly you told me about the accident when you were younger.
Yeah.
Was it before then? Was it the accident made you change the way you are? Or do you want to share about the accident?
I would love to share about that, but really it is because God created me this way to just be good perspective, upbeat, and I am blessed by that. And I had the happiest mama ever. My mom, I was so blessed. I had the best parents. They were so great. And my mama was just like super happy. She ended up passing from Alzheimer's, but she was happy right to the end. We would do things called lapping and laughing, and we would do laps around her memory care and laugh and sing and have fun. I did little videos. They're on my YouTube page. If you go to RussHedge.com, you can find it. But it was just such a blessing, and that's where my personality came from, my mindset. And, you know, the things I had in life, one of the first really major negative things was that car accident. And, you know, I was driving home from golfing, actually, and was hit by a truck going 65 miles an hour on Highway 99 in Canby. They had to stop traffic, fly me out, lifeline. They had to come in, cut me out of the car with the jaws of life, fly me to Emmanuel Hospital, where they had a whole trauma team, a whole team of doctors waiting to do their thing. They said if I had not been flown, there was somebody on site that knew I had to go by lifeline, because they said I wouldn't have made it by ambulance. And so, blessing from God, I made it. And yeah, you know, you think that would have been a really life-changing moment. It made me resilient, and it made me really determined for life, which is good. But I was in college then, and I was kind of in my lost phase. I was trying to figure life out. And so it was an interesting time, and it took a while for God to get my attention and for me to really move forward. But I still was a happy person. You know, I was a very happy, upbeat person. So
That's what everything in your book is really good, because one of the sayings that I always tell people, it's happening. It's not happening to you; it's happening for you. And you have a version of that. I don't remember how you said it in your book, but that's a very true fact, because we all run across people that have something going on in their life. And we just had this conversation a little bit ago with our previous guests. Is like, you just don't know what's going on behind.
exactly.
You know, behind the closed door with people, and what their day-to-day drama is, or what emergency they have going on. You just don't know. And so that positive attitude and carrying it forward like that is really
I love
important.
that quote. It's attributed, I've always said it's attributed to Ed Milet, but it's also Tony Robbins and their buddy.
Yeah.
So they both say it. So, but life happens for you, not to you.
Yeah.
But that is a choice, because the reality is life happens to you, and you choose to make it for you.
That's right.
So that is an intentional choice. And so, you know, everybody can say that all day long, but if you're not choosing to learn from it and grow from it and make it happen for you, then it's just happening to you, you know, and then life's just going to keep doing whatever. And I'm a big proponent of, we are not our circumstances, right? Having cancer, having problems, or having wonderful things in life, good and bad. We are not our circumstances. We are our choices and the direction we choose to go in life and our perspective on life. There's a quote, it's in my book too. There's a quote in there that is a formula called the divine equation, C plus P equals E. And it is by Chip Ingram, great author. And it's circumstances plus perspective equals experience, because that's what your experience is driven out of, not just your circumstances, but how you see them.
Yep.
And I tell you, there's a million examples, but I can just tell you one yesterday. My wife and I were talking about something. She's got she's kind of a glass half empty. My beautiful wife, she's amazing, but she's kind of glass half empty person. And I am a glass bubbling over person, a little too much sometimes.
I always tell people I drank the first half.
Yeah.
And I'm working on, filling it back up. So
Yeah. So we were talking about a situation. She had a completely different perspective than I did of what happened. We talked about the events. She saw it a completely different way than I did. And that's okay. That's just the way life is. So, but it proves that equation, that it's your perspective on what happened is really what drives what the experience was to you. So,
well, I think that's the perspective you give people, because a lot of people, they just wait for the bad things to happen.
Yeah.
Like it's going to fall apart anyway, and I think that you're the exact opposite.
Yes.
You're looking for things to get thrown at you to engage in what's happening to go forward.
oh yeah. And,
That's really good.
I've said to people, people have this saying, don't get your hopes up. And I say, no. Get your hopes up.
Yeah.
Why not be hopeful?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why not look for good things? So what if it doesn't happen? Does that mean the entire time when you're not getting your hopes up, you're kind of miserable because you're thinking things are going to be bad? So why not get your hopes up? Because I tell you, you're going to find, here's another Ed Milet, Tony Robbins thing. You have a thing called the reticular activator in your brain. The best example of this, and it's probably in my book too, you buy a red Mustang. You go out, you drive it for the first time. Oh my goodness, there are red Mustangs all over the place.
Yep.
Everybody has a red Mustang. Where did all these red Mustangs come? I just bought one and everybody else bought a red Mustang. Well, they've always been there, but your brain is looking for them. So the way you think, our brains were created to actually wire themselves and program themselves. This is a scientific fact. I am not a scientist, but I have listened to many. It will wire itself to look for what you are looking for, what you're thinking about. So why not think about positive things, get your hopes up, look for brighter future ahead, know great things are going to happen, because I'm telling you, there's going to be a whole lot more of that in your life. Doesn't mean everything's going to be great, but it means there's a whole lot more good stuff if you're looking for it.
I totally 100% agree upon that. There's a lot of people living in drama and fear,
Oh, yeah.
and having that positive outlook would help them a lot. So you diagnosed cancer. What's been 2 years now? 3 years?
Been over 3.5 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what is the one big thing that changed in your life over that?
Wow. I would say my perspective on, you always say you need to live life to the fullest, right? But you never really know what that means until you could die today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
You don't know. I mean, you see immortality right in front of you, and you start thinking, life on this earth is short. I better be more intentional about what I'm doing. And so it definitely heightened my intentionality. And I think a lot of things that I said were right and good, and I meant it, but I didn't really feel it, and it wasn't down here deep within me as much as it was suddenly. I was thinking, I really need to live the life that I'm choosing. My first anthology book was called Rattled Awake. And my rattled awake moment was, am I really, really living what I say? And the answer was no. I mean, I wasn't lying or being inauthentic or any of that. I was just not really doing it because I thought, I'm kind of on autopilot, life is good. And then suddenly, whammo, this changes everything. So, and then it was stages through that, but it's been a year and a half ago now. I was diagnosed at stage 4. So I've gone through many stages through this, but suddenly it had gone to my lungs and my brain. And so then it really, it just step by step wakes you up, and but it has been such a blessing because it's opened so many doors. God has used it to help me be present, engaged, more intentional. And does that mean I do that all the time? No, I'm like everybody else. I have challenges and ups and downs like everybody, but certainly way more that way than I ever was before.
Well, the math for me has always been I give 100% of what I got every day. Some days it looks like 20%, some days it looks like 180%.
Yeah.
But really it just depends on what you're trying to get as much as you can out of it and stuff.
Right.
And I try not to beat myself up about the days that are 20%, and that's my struggle too, is feeling like I could have done this, could have done that. The thing I'm battling with right now is the wait. Like, I can't wait till this happens. I can't wait till that happens. Or, I'm looking forward to this. Oh, that'll be so nice. I'm looking forward to that, and not living in the moment versus living in the things I'm trying to get towards. And I'm struggling with that right now because sometimes you can get into a holding pattern, waiting for like this to happen or that to happen. And they really can't embrace the day when you do that. And so that's probably my biggest struggle right now as far as that kind of that philosophical mindset.
Yeah, and I call that wishing your life away, because what's happening is you're wishing and hoping for things that will happen, and then you lose all this time in between because you're basically just saying, this time doesn't matter, and we all do it. So, all of us do it. But, when you think intentionally about, I need to be intentional and engaged today, just like before I left today, I need to kiss my beautiful wife and tell her I love her. I need to, make sure that there's nothing I can do that will help in the situation. In the midst of me being maybe really busy, I need to slow down and think about those kind of things, because now is the time that I have, and I don't know what tomorrow brings.
Yeah, absolutely.
37 years, right?
But
Your wife.
my wife,
37 years. You guys have been married.
we've been married 38 years.
38 years? Okay.
Yeah, so we just hit 37 in December. 38 in December, and oh my goodness, she, wow, I was so blessed. God, I definitely married up. And we met in the most unlikely way and came together. And, you know, someone was telling me the other day, when you meet the right person, you know. And I was actually in college at Oregon State, completely anti-commitment, completely. Had dated a lot, but had one person that really wanted to commit and get married, and I had no intentions of that, none. And so I kept breaking it off because it scared me, it freaked me out. When I met my wife, Leah, I immediately, well, not only was I in love with her like immediately, but that grew quickly. And we were at a point where within a month and 3 weeks from the day we met, I asked her to marry me. And I just knew, and what's so funny is during that time, we talked about how neither of us wanted to commit. She had been proposed to twice and turned her down. I had had the situation not wanting to commit. And if we said, this is going to be great, we're just going to date and have fun and not worry about commitment. So then we started talking about not wanting to get married and what marriage would look like. And next thing you know, we're engaged. So,
Oh, wow.
but that was, but she has been the light of my life and been a blessing through all of these ups and downs. And so I'm so thankful.
And you have kids? How many kids do you have?
2 amazing children, yes. I have a 35-year-old daughter and a 32-year-old son. Amazing daughter-in-law. He's married. My daughter is, she was a worship pastor, but now she's like an associate doing not only worship, but doing youth and doing other things too here in Salem. My son is a professional musician down in LA and doing great. He's Grammy nominated, Dove nominated, so he's been doing real well. And so, so I'm really blessed. Great children.
Yeah, that's really good. Back up, when you went to OSU, what did you go to school for? See?
Good question. The reason I laugh is because I came out of school, high school, just like thinking, I'm supposed to go to college. I'm supposed to do this and then get a job and get married, and that's how life is supposed to go, right? And that's not a bad thing. But I'm just kind of doing what I think I'm supposed to do. So I had great influences in music. I was involved in sports, music, drama, everything in school. I did pretty much everything. So my music instructors told me, you have got to go to a school for music. So I almost went to Indiana University first. I was almost a Hoosier because they have a great music department. But then I decided it was too far away from Mom's cooking. So then I originally got accepted with my buddy to U of O. Almost made a big mistake. Oops, sorry. And then I ended up getting a music scholarship at Oregon State.
Oh.
And so one of my teachers drove me there. I tried out, got a music scholarship. So that's how I started.
Okay.
Then after about a term of music, I realized I wasn't into music theory. I wasn't into some of the other things. I liked music performance, but I didn't like the other stuff. So they said, well, listen, we'll let you keep doing music lessons and be involved in the choir and all these things I was doing. And we'll, even if you're not, we'll just change your scholarship. And then I just was a liberal arts major. So ultimately I went through college just kind of floundering. And then my counselor, the year before I graduated, I was on the 5-year plan, by the way. I kind of had fun, too much fun. It took too long. He said, with all these random classes you've taken, I can piece these together and put this together, and within 2 terms and an internship, you can graduate with a communications degree, speech communications. I said, let's do it. Let's do it. I was ready to get out of here. And then I met my beautiful wife, and that was all the more, all the more that I wanted to get out of there. So, so I ended up graduating with communications.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Great story. I love it.
That was kind of a wandering college career. Yeah.
But you stayed a dedicated Beaver fan, which I love, absolutely love. So your tailgates were always huge. You always had a lot of people there because everybody knows you.
Yeah.
So
well, Oregon State was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I kind of started too much on the social end and not enough on the educational end. I got a 1.7. I went from top 10% of my class in high school, where they just kind of hold your hand through high school, and I was a good kid, so everybody helped me along. Got to college, got a 1.79 my first term. Rude awakening, immediate on academic, probation. And so I had to pick things up, but I really enjoyed it. I learned a lot. I made lifelong friends, and so much came out of my college career. So,
Is there one person in particular that influences you?
Well,
Like a mentor?
you mean in life in general?
Yeah, in general.
My dad was my hero. He really, I looked up to him. Both my parents, amazing. But, he just, I just wanted to be like my dad. And then when I went to college, there was a professor, and I wrote about it in the book, a journalism professor, that at Oregon State, I can tell you, I probably can only name 2 or 3 professors' names, especially after all these years, that I remember. But Barbara Ellis, I will never forget, because I had to get this journalism credit to graduate. And this is probably my 3rd or 4th year. And so I went in to see her, and she said, okay. She goes, I will make room in my class, because it was full. She said, I will make a spot for you. But I'm going to tell you that if you make one grammatical error, miss a period, miss a comma, you go down 1 grade. She goes, you misspell a word, you miss another period or comma, you go down another grade. She goes, you miss 3, you might as well just forget about it. She goes, but I will help you and I will be there for you, whatever you need, right? And I'm like, great, no problem, I got it. I tell her, yes, I'll do it, okay, because I have to get in this class, right? So I walk out the door and I think, what in the world have I done? This is freaking me out. I'm going to flunk this class, I ended up acing her classes. They were the hardest classes I ever had, but she was just always there for me. And I loved her phrase, and I use it in the book. She always says, just do the next dumb thing. And when she was talking about journalism, you get writer's block, you don't know what to do, just do the next dumb thing. Just start writing. Doesn't matter what it is. Write about anything in life, just start, because it will work you out of your issues. And I have found that in life. If I want to just work myself out of a rut, I go see my friend Arthur, somebody who's going to lift me up and just bless me and make me feel better and get out of that rut. And so I just intentionally do things like that. So I've always remembered that, and that has stuck with me. So I would say she was another really strong mentor in my life.
So is that kind of a mantra that you use then? Because I've been sitting here waiting to ask you that question, because you've been in some, with the cancer and all that stuff, you've been in some pretty deep stuff, and if there was any kind of a mantra that helps you pull that out to where it kind of helps re-level you a little bit and say, hey, because I know I've been side by side with people that have dealt, with cancer, and there's a suck to it that just is like terrible.
Right.
So I didn't know if there was a mantra that helps you at least balance or level yourself out to get you to a place that you can kind of work from there.
Right.
Well,
I would say, honestly, I just trust God, and I'm just thankful, and I just move forward with everything, knowing that things are going to be okay. But really, I guess my mantra in life would be, what my dad always said, another thing that's in my book, tomorrow's a new day. Tomorrow's a new day. And what he meant by that was, today may be horrible and things might not be going good, but if you get a good night's sleep, you wake up, you'll have a fresh perspective. And you can do that moment by moment in life. Moment by moment, you can give yourself a little rest, a brain break, and just come in with a new perspective. Through my whole cancer journey, I am really good in the mornings. I'm my Russ self. I'm this. Woo, this is me. And then I completely collapse in the afternoon. So I normally go to bed and sleep for a couple hours. And I wake up feeling better with a fresh perspective. And then I can spend time with my beautiful wife when she comes home from work and see my daughter and whatever else is going on. And so, yeah, tomorrow's a new day.
I love that. That's great. You made a reference to me of being so upbeat or whatever. I look at you that way. So just so you know, I wanted to. That's why I enjoy our coffee so much, is because you always bring me up when we talk, and just because of your journey and our friendship, it's fantastic.
Let me just say something there, and then I just want to add that one of my favorite quotes is, "You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most times with." Jim Rohn, and great man, great quote. A really good friend of mine was personally mentored by him. Just an amazing person. He's passed now, but that's it. Who you hang around with makes who you are, because you are your environment. And I just think that's so important.
To go along with that new start every day, I always tell myself every morning, today, let today be the day. Whatever that pans out to be, let today be the day. Today's something new and great, whatever it is, let today be the day. On your book writing, why did you start writing a book? Tell me about this. How'd this start?
Well, it's really interesting because it was October of 2019, and I met with my good friend D. Scott Smith, and Scott and I, he's still my co-host on a couple of my live streams. He says, "Hey, you are already coaching, teaching, speaking to your teams, your sales teams," and I was at ServPro then, and he said, "So you've got all this experience, all these years." He goes, "You need to start a little side hustle, do your own thing, do some speaking, do some coaching." He goes, "Have you ever thought about a podcast? And what about writing a book?" And I'm like, whoa, slow down. And Scott's got that way of always overwhelming me, and in a good way. And so I started my business and got my website, did a couple things, but I was working like 12 hours a day, and I couldn't, by the time I came home, I just wanted to hang out with my beautiful wife for an hour, have dinner, and go to bed for a new day. Yeah. And so I didn't really do a lot. I just got it started. And then in January, I think it was, of 2020, he introduced me to this global tea break group. It was an international networking group on this thing called Zoom. And I'm like, I have no idea what Zoom is, never heard of it, don't know how to use it. He goes, "Oh, it's simple, I'll teach you." So he shows me, I get to this meeting, so I have a trial run with this. Then what, a couple months later, whammo, everything shuts down. COVID hits and the whole world shuts down. And so I'm busy teaching the Chamber of Commerce, other people how to use Zoom. Let's get together, let's keep networking, let's keep doing stuff. And then to the book, I thought, I have all this time. My beautiful wife said, "You know what, honey? You have felt like this is kind of the direction you want to go. Well, God's just leveled the playing field. There's nothing going on. This is the time to start your business." And so I did, and never looked back. Wrote a book in 5 months. I started live streaming. I started podcasting then, and I started just doing marketing coaching online and all that kind of stuff. So the book really came out of my encouragement from my friend, and then just the time and experience to be able to do it. And and the other books just kind of happened, just like opportunities kept popping up. So that's why I kept going.
Fantastic. I like that. Because a lot of people say they want to write a book. They're going to write a book, and they never do it. And I think that's inspiring that you did that. So
everybody's got a book in them. You got a book in you.
I got one.
There you
I
go.
have one on my website.
Go. So I told
about
you
business.
Yeah, that's right.
I was in the restaurant business, and I have to say there was so much happen in drama with employees, and customers. There was just so much out of all the businesses I've done. I think restaurant was probably the toughest with all the different things happening. So I'm going to write a bathroom reader, those little short books that you put in the bathroom and you read one chapter. I'm going to name it As the Burger Burns. Because every restaurant friend that I have has stories to tell me, and I'll just get them I'll cash in on their stories, put it in my book. I'll have a whole series of them. And
that's
then
a
we'll
great
go.
idea.
So
life is full of opportunities.
Yeah,
you should take it.
It is.
I think that what I like is to pull inspiration, because as a general rule, and the people that know you, you're kind of walking in that really positive light, and you have that impact on all the people around you and things like that. I think that takes a lot of energy from somebody to do that, and I find that you have great balance with that. I mean, you just happen to have that great platform that you actually sit on, that whether with faith, with family, and all of those types of things. I think the thing that I look at through all of that is, like a new day is a new day and all of that, but you only have so much energy for each day. And so I guess if I had questions for that, it's like, is it easy to get out of a rut? Like you seem to focus that on an everyday journey and stuff, but some days, some weeks, or some days, they can kind of stack up. Yep. And so I just didn't know that if you've ever have put yourself or had been in some kind of a rut where you needed to work extra each day to get out of that rut, and you find yourself not being able to get out of that rut for an extended time.
Right.
And you know, how if you've experienced that and how you would get through that.
Well, I think everybody experiences that. I think everybody gets in a rut occasionally. It's just, you know, things happen, right? Life happens, but then you get to choose. And that's really what I do, is try to always keep the perspective that tomorrow's a new day, next moment's a new moment. You know, I look for good things to happen. And so my go-to always is, if things are happening that aren't good, I say, well, the good news is we're still alive. We still have our family. There's so many good things, right? I always say, if you stack up good and bad, the bad things really aren't very many. They just seem to be huge when they happen, but there's so much good in your life. And so I look to that. I look to the good things in life, and I remind myself, and I tell myself the good things that have happened. And besides having a great morning routine, every night I not only spend time praying and being with my wife, but I also think about the good things that have happened, and I remind myself, and so that keeps me going, and that pulls me out of ruts. And sometimes, honestly, you just got to go to bed and get a good night's rest and wake up with a fresh perspective, you know?
I know for me, I'm the best version of myself in the morning
Oh,
after
yeah.
I've slept.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sharp, I'm crisp. 8 o'clock at night, I can't function, I can't do computer work, I'm done. I'm done.
I'm with you 100%, and I got to tell you a funny story, because I just got back from Podfest, which is a podcasting huge conference, one of the biggest in the world, in Orlando, Florida. And it was wonderful. I was gifted and just able to go there. It was just a blessing, right? And so I go to Orlando, and I was there 5 days. It was a 4-day conference. And the conference was 7 a.m. to like 11 p.m. Because activity, and sometimes later than that. And I am like, there's no way I can do that. I want to go, but there's no way I can do that. My friend's saying, we'll just have to find a place for you. And I said, hey, listen, I can find couches, I can find something, chairs, I can relax, I'll find something. He goes, hey, we got a buddy, we're staying off site. I was staying off site, big, huge. It was SeaWorld's Convention Center, the Renaissance there, huge. And I had a buddy who was staying in the hotel there. He's like, dude, I'll give you my room key. You can go up there, take a nap anytime you want. And so he gave me his other room key, and I was just able to go rest, because I am like you. Even with those naps, when we were at an event at 10 o'clock at night, I was off in the corner, kind of closing my eyes and letting it happen, because I do not function well at night. I am so much better in the morning. But, you know, that's where you learn to manage your life. You talked about balance. You learn what you can do and what you can't do, and you just learn to balance.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do rapid fire questions.
Sure.
Okay, so coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Hike in the mountains or a walk on the beach?
Walk on the beach.
Favorite food?
Pizza.
Pizza.
We're done.
We're done. I got any more questions? If you were to have any kind of dessert, what would it be?
Probably Marionberry pie.
Oh, yum. What is your favorite color?
My favorite color is blue, for sure.
The last guest just said that too.
Yeah, that's why I started laughing. And then you're laughing
awesome.
over there. So
You know, it has nothing to do with
So
the influence
awesome.
of like blue.
Right?
Blue.
It
You know,
Blue is
that's the
always
first
a
color
favorite
that comes to
yeah.
the mind.
I,
What's your favorite car?
Mustang, 64 Mustang.
yeah. Why do you always look at me when you ask this question?
I know,
have
because
a
you get
64
so
Mustang?
excited about it.
Say it again.
Do you have a classic car?
No, I don't. I actually, somebody who worked for my dad when I was young had a 64 Mustang, and I fell in love with it. And honestly, my first car was a Mustang, but mine was a 1980 Mustang, which was a lemon year, by the way, and
Yeah.
it was not a good car, but thank God I had a car, but
Yeah.
it was, not a good year. So, but 64 Mustangs have always been my favorite.
What is one goal that you would like to accomplish in 26?
Oh, for sure. I want to be on 100 podcasts.
Oh, nice. Well, we can always arrange for you to come back on. That will knock out 2 for you.
There we go.
Where are you at in that trajectory? Like, where are you at?
Oh, I've already done here in the first month. I've besides my own that I do,
Yeah.
I've already done 8.
You're off to a good start.
Well, and the cool thing was Podfest, where I was just at, I've already been invited on and connecting with tons of people that I was there with. And, this whole virtual world we live in, it was so great to go to this thing because not only did I meet so many amazing new people that I could be on the podcast with, but there was tons of people that I knew really well, like I was really good friends with, but I'd never been in the same room with. Mm-hmm. And to be able to give them a big hug and actually see them for the first time, amazing. So that was a lot of fun. I saw at least probably 10 people that I knew that I had never met in person. Yeah, so it was cool.
That's great. Real quick, and before we wrap it up, you are doing speaking engagements still?
Yes, inspirational speaking is my number one thing.
Okay. Do you want to talk about that? You want to tell us what you're looking for? Are you just looking for any gigs or anything in particular? Large crowds, small crowds?
Yeah. Listen, I can speak to any size crowd. People fire me up, as you can tell. And I love to inspire and encourage people because I believe that an inspired and encouraged team is a productive team, and a productive team makes a company just a really productive and effective and good team, a good company. So what I do is go in, and of course I can do sales and marketing tips and all that stuff too. I can tailor those talks, but I just really love to go in and just really encourage people to get them fired up. And so I speak to all sizes, little groups, big groups, and that's why I got into live streaming and podcasting, because I love to do that. And I've learned to, even without people in front of me, I've learned to just really be me, because it takes a little more energy when they're not people that are giving you feedback, right?
Yeah.
Seeing you smile at me, makes me feel like, okay, good, he likes what I'm saying, or he fakes it well.
I always say smile. It makes people wonder what you're up to.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that.
So you have a nickname, also known as Selfie with Russ.
Oh, hashtag RussSelfie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I actually have a few nicknames. Yes.
Yeah, well, this is the
Yes,
good version. Good version.
I love selfies. Well, if we have time for one more short story, I'll just tell you that was in a few years ago, probably 10 years ago, with my family on the East Coast. We did a DC to Boston trip. Never been above. We'd been to New York and been to Florida, but that was it on the West Coast. So we tried this trip. And DC, I was trying to take a selfie of the family, and I was having all kinds of problems. And my son's like, Dad, just stop here. Switch places with me. I'll take the selfie. So he takes the selfie. And I'm thinking, I got to learn how to do this. But then it kind of went out of my head. And then we go through New York on the way up to Boston. We're in the subway. And I always give people my camera to take a picture of the family, right? That's been because I want a picture of a family wherever they are. I hand him my phone, forgetting that my son has downsized me and my wallet and everything is in there. So my credit cards, my cash, everything. I've just handed to a stranger, maybe a little sketchy in the subway. And I'm praying as we back up, literally, dear God, please help him to be a nice man, a nice young man, and give it back to me, right? Because he's got it. He could be gone. And so he did give it back to me, but I decided I could never do that again. And so then I had to learn how to take selfies. When I started it, people started at meetings, networking meetings, like chamber and things like that. They were diving in, going, selfie! And everybody smiles and laughs and has a good time. You take a picture with 5 people, some of which you don't really know very well. You tag them. Next time you see them, you're their best friend.
Yeah.
And so I thought, this is an amazing connection tool that I have stumbled into by accident. So I came up because of another mutual friend of ours said, you got to have your own hashtag. So I came up with hashtag RussSelfie, and there you go. And there are tens of thousands of hashtag RussSelfies on the internet.
I'm one of them. 3 years ago when we met, first time,
so
we did a selfie.
That's right.
It's identity marketing. And you nailed that right on the money right there. That is your brand. That is your brand. Everything you do is around that.
That's right.
And so people you don't even know at events want to jump in because they've seen it.
Right.
And they want to be part of that. So that's perfect identity marketing. I applaud you for that.
Yeah, well, thank you. And it is interesting because people have said that I meet for the first time. I've always wanted to be in a hashtag RussSelfie, and I'm like, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, that
Yeah.
makes me feel really
So
good
you're
that you
re-
actually want to be in a...
Really famous doing that, and I mean, you're well known. Everybody, you know, you go to an event and everybody wants. I notice when I go to like chamber greeters, I see you at an event, you have the largest crowd of people around you because I think they're waiting for you to break that phone out to take that picture. Just so you know, I just think.
Or maybe I just go to them, you know. That's one thing
I think
that I've
they're
always...
magnetically attracted to you with your personality.
Well, thank
That's what
you.
it is.
I've always encouraged people. I love to go to the wallflowers at events because I feel sorry for them, that they're really nervous and they're introverts and they're shy. And I like to take them and then introduce them to a few people because then that helps broaden their comfort zone with who they know. But I love hanging around people. I love going to those things. So, yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Accurate.
I was going to say, with being around the pictures and all that kind of stuff, I just don't picture you as somebody that is that digital, like you've got to have the camera on you at all the time. So I think you just put yourself in good places to be a part of what you're trying to accomplish. Right. And I think that's good because I think that you're not losing perspective of the actual atmosphere you're in.
Sure.
And so I applaud you for that as well. But
well, people always joke with me. They tell me I'm on social media all the time.
Yeah.
And I say, no, not really. I said, I post a lot of hashtag RussSelfies. Yes, that's true. But my assistant, my amazing teammate, she does all the other social media stuff. I'm not a big fan of hanging out and scrolling through social media. I like social media just fine, but it just takes a lot of time. And so the fact that people see me a lot, there's a perception. It's also like there's a perception. People tell me I'm everywhere. Yeah. You're everywhere. Really? Well, I'm not really everywhere, but sometimes I can pop into 2 or 3 events within an hour and a half in 2 or 3 cities and take pictures, and everybody sees me. Wow, weren't you just in Corvallis and now you're in Lebanon? What are you doing in Salem? You know, and all this stuff. So it just gives a perception that you're all over the place, but I just enjoy doing that. So I pretty much always take selfies at events that I'm at. Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on our show.
Thank you. Anytime.
We'll do it again.
When's number 2? We got to get another one.
We'll get it on the book.